In Genesis 12, 1 through 3, there is a promise made to Abram, one of the descendants of Shem, who in turn is the son of Noah, who in turn is a descendant of Adam, according to the biblical text. And we can see this promise, just to give you a heads up, as being made to counter, to heal, to resolve what has gone before, which is the dispersing of the nations after the Tower of Babel. The promise here involves offspring and blessing and land. Now the Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who curses you I will curse, and by you all the families of the earth shall bless themselves, or can obtain blessing in you." And in verse 7, then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your descendants I will give this land." So offspring, a great nation, being a blessing to the families of the earth, and land. Blessing in the Old Testament includes fertility in humans, animals, and land, peace, security from enemies, good fortune and well-being for a tribe or a group. The word shalom sums it up, means more than peace. It means well-being. This blessing is for all of humankind and reverses the curses, even if only in a very small way, of Genesis 1 through 11. Those curses included fruitless toil and pain, care-laden wandering, ceaseless toil, slavery or servitude, and the destructive chaos of the nations. The promise of Genesis 12 is repeated to Abram in chapter 17, when God makes a covenant with Abram. He says that Abram will be the father of a multitude of nations, verse 4. He will be very fruitful. Nations will come from him. Kings shall come forth. Also, in verse 8, the promise of land is given. And what is added to this promise is that God will be with them. The presence of God, which has been lost in Genesis 3 through 11, is here again promised. The promise is further made to Isaac. And God says, "I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and to your descendants I will give all these lands, and I will fulfill the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven, and will give to your descendants all these lands, and by your descendants all the nations of the earth shall bless themselves." And again, we have the promise of God's presence. "I will be with you." The promise is again repeated to Jacob when he dreams of the ladder or the staircase to heaven. "And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father, the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and to your descendants, and your descendants shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and by you and your descendants shall all the families of the earth be blessed, or bless themselves. Behold, I am with you. So again, descendants, land, blessing, and presence. In moderating or undoing the curses, we find the beginning of renewal. Instead of being a place of toil, the land becomes a place of fruitfulness. Remember that one of the curses spoken to Adam is that the land will sort of be fighting him, will be in enmity with him. But here it becomes a place of fruitfulness. Sarah becomes a new Eve, the mother of nations. Genesis 17:16, I will bless her, and moreover I will give you a son by her. I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of peoples shall come from her. Those that toil in childbirth, spoken about to Eve, now becomes a joy and a blessing in having a son by Abraham and her being the mother of nations. The land is given to Abraham and his descendants, possession of land being instead of wandering or slavery. And the nations will obtain blessing through Abraham and his descendants.